The gallstone that he was trying to remove was so large that he couldn't get it out. He had to use larger tools, more aggressive tools, and break this apart.
Today, we have a story to tell you. It's one of my good friends from the community. She's been around for a very long time, and I just love her to death because she's so supportive. And I can relate to her a lot. She's another mom, and I've been dying to have moms on because moms are fucking heroes and warriors because they're doing it all. So I've known Erin for a very long time. So Erin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to chat with you and just put my story out there because I'm sure it's a relatable one, and that's why I just love this community so much. So I am excited to share. I'm excited to chat.
Awesome. So let's just start. One, how far out are you, and when did this all start?
I am just over 3 years post-op with gastric bypass. I have lost 100. Well, initially in my very first year post-op, I lost 140 pounds. That was kind of like already my happy place at 1 year post-op. And then I kind of hung around that for a while. I found that it was a little bit too much weight loss for me. Like I didn't feel great. So I did bounce up about 8 pounds and I've been maintaining ever since. So I think that's, yeah. I mean, obviously there's like the ups and downs, that's the total normal thing. But for the most part, I'm happy to say that this is just me living in maintenance now. And it's not an easy life, which we'll get into, but it's such a satisfying one, and it's the best decision I ever made for myself and my family.
Well, congratulations. 3 years out, you're maintaining. And I love the fact that you said that it didn't feel right to be that low. Because people need to know it's okay to, like you did, bounce up some, because if you don't feel good in your skin, go for it.
Yeah. Like I would look in the mirror and I would see, bones and things popping out that I was like, at first I have to admit, I was like, whoa, that's cool. Those collarbones really do exist, And it's like at a point where I don't know if I really noticed it so much like on a daily basis, but if, for example, like I saw a picture of myself that someone took of me, I'd say, oh my gosh, I look really skinny. Like, I don't know. And it wasn't like in a good way. So it was, yeah. And then there was a few people that I think most people will get, oh, you look sick, and oh, are you okay? And it's like because people aren't used to seeing someone drop so much weight so quickly. So even if they knew, they knew my story, they knew I had a surgery as a tool and all of those things. It's just that people would kind of start to question you. It's like, are you sure? Are you going to stop losing weight? And there was a time, Mel, where I was very concerned that I wasn't going to stop losing. And that I was just going to keep going and look like deathly sick. So, and it was a bit of a struggle there, both physically and sort of mentally, right? But then, as I say, I kind of bounced up a little bit and became my happy place. So.
Oh, good. So I didn't know that part. So what did you do to go, okay, I do look a little too tiny? Like, did you just think about it? Did you talk to your doctors about it? Like, what did you do?
I did not talk to my doctor about that because at that point I was sort of officially discharged from the bariatric program because I was considered a success and I was all fine all by myself. So in Canada, you get that support for the 1 year and then it would be up to your family physician and just yourself, like making regular appointments and blood work and things like that to kind of keep on track, which I do. But as a bariatric surgeon, and having that support, I didn't really have that access. So I just kind of thought to myself, I'm already doing a lot of cardio. So obviously I don't need that. I wanted to do more weight training and things like that. And by cardio, I mean, just for anyone who might not know my full backstory, we'll get through it. But it's like, I just move because I'm the mom and because I'm this and I'm that with my job. It's just, I don't stop moving. So I don't actually do I don't go to the gym. I don't work out. I want to start in terms of weightlifting and things like that and toning up. But yeah, my cardio is just my go life.
Your life. Yeah.
My
Your
life. That's
life
just
is
my
cardio.
cardio. Exactly. It's enough for me. So yeah, that just kind of kept me going. And I found that as that 1 year post-op mark kind of went by and I was getting into the 1.5 years, 2 year mark, I was really realizing that my restriction was disappearing, which then also scared me to the other extreme. So it was like I found myself just being able to eat way more food, and way more frequently. So that scared me, of course, because
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
start to see, even though I wanted the pounds to come back on a little bit, when they do, and you start seeing that number start to go the opposite direction to what you tried so hard to achieve to get it going down, it's
Yep.
like it's a real mind screw, like if I can say that. Like it's
Yeah. It's a mind fuck. Yep.
okay, I was
Yep.
gonna say mind fuck, but I didn't want to, and I thought, wait a minute, no, I'm on Mel's podcast. That's fine. Yeah, no, mind fuck. It really is. And a lot of this journey is a big mind fuck, but it's kind of one that makes you just consistently recharge, refresh, realign with your goals, and it's just keeps you in check that way. So I think that's a really good thing. Um, so I think that seeing that scale go up was scary, but at the same time, I knew that it was necessary.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will. Well, and that would be nerve wracking, right? Like
Hmm.
I know I was scared when it was started going up again, and I was like, oh, I can't gain all the weight. Like, don't do it. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's hard to kind of wrap your head around it.
hmm
And knowing that it's, and I knew that it was okay. I knew that restriction comes and goes, and I knew that as more time passes, you're able to eat more, and that's a totally normal thing. But when you're
right.
actually doing it and you're actually experiencing it, it's like, oh, is my tool no longer working for me, and all of this, right? And then you start thinking, yeah, I'm going to go back to my 300-pound self. Great, this was all for nothing,
You're in my head. Yes,
right?
that's exactly everything I thought because
Yeah,
it's so scary. So
yeah.
let's rewind and tell people. So, what was your highest weight, and how do you think you got there? Like, I know I was born a big baby. I've been a big person my whole life.
Hmm.
I came to terms at 20 that this is just what I was going to be like. I didn't even think I could reverse this. So, how was that for you?
Yeah, I like yourself. I was always the big girl. I even from a young age. And I have asked myself this question so many times. Sorry, this is the life. We've got stuff going on in the house. If you're hearing the background noise, I apologize. So I think that for me, there was no real one answer. There was no real one trauma that led me to a food addiction, because that is absolutely what I had. So when I asked myself this question, I honestly, the only conclusion I come up with is I just fucking loved food. I just
Yeah.
love food. Like I had no real issue in my life that it's like that led me to find food for comfort. I did absolutely find, comfort in food, but I used food as anything and everything. I used food for
Okay.
entertainment and fun and excitement and celebration. I used food when I was sad or stressed or angry. I used food as a way to comfort others. Like, here, let me make you this meal. And I love cooking. I love baking. So like that was a way I also showed affection. So it's like
Yeah.
food for me was just this amazing thing. And I just love
Yeah.
all kinds of cuisine, and I just explore different foods every day and so it's like I just love food, and I could just pack away a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
would think nothing of, oh my goodness, I would think nothing of polishing off, I don't know, 30 chicken wings as an
hmm
appetizer, and then having a plate of pasta, and then having dessert. And I would ask myself daily, how do I fit all this in here? How am I
Yeah.
not 700 pounds is what I would usually ask myself. Um, but of course, that just continues and continues. And then once I had children, um, the weight sort of comes on differently. Like it's like I could start to see my body change. I was putting on weight in places that I wasn't really putting on the weight before. And it just changed my body. And then hormones, of course, and all of those other things that go into it, really affected me. And that was with my first daughter. And then when I had my twins in 2020, twins, a whole other ball game in terms of hormones and all of those things. So it really hit me hard after the twins, and I ballooned up even more after I had them, I think. And gosh, how much weight did I gain after them?
I
I
just
don't,
can't believe you had twins during 2020. I
it was
forgot that you
tough.
had them.
Yes.
That would be the worst fucking time
Uh-huh.
to
Yep.
get surgery, to have babies,
Yeah.
like anything medically necessary. I would be scared
It
because
was a nightmare.
I still have the scar right here, and I should have gone in. I did the whole avocado, like, I'm going to cut myself on accident situation, and it went right through. And it
Oh,
went right through. It hit bone. I
oh
felt it.
God. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but it was April of 2020.
So
And I'm
right,
like,
right when it started, you're like, I ain't going in there.
nope. So we just like, Eric's like, we're just going to hold it together.
Oh
And we're
gosh.
gonna super glue it, and we're gonna just do this unless we have to go, we'll go. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Nobody
okay. I
wanted
was
to
like,
go. Yeah.
no. And I can't, you had twins. Like, oh,
Yeah, it
tell
was
me
really
about
tough.
that.
Yeah, so it was a real tough situation in terms of, well, the entire pregnancy was extremely difficult on me, like physically as well. It was just a rough go. I ended up going into early labor at 30 weeks, and I was in the hospital with contractions for 7 hours with nothing happening. Of course, I didn't want them born that early because that would have been not a great situation, of course. So it was just rough. And then I was on bed rest, like very strict bed rest. So I think that also contributed to my weight, because I wasn't moving. I was not moving.
Yeah.
I was growing two humans. It was awful. And the COVID part of it, yeah, was like my husband couldn't be a part of that in terms of any of the ultrasound appointments, nothing. And even in the delivery, he was allowed to be in the delivery room with me. And I had a C-section. I had a scheduled C-section. But he wasn't allowed to stay with me. So imagine
Aw.
that, right? Like after I've just given birth to these two little babies, and now I'm left by myself, staying overnight in a hospital for 1 or 2 nights, unable to move because I've just had a C-section. And now I have to pick these babies up and breastfeed them and everything up. Like, how am I going to do this by myself when I can't have my husband here, right? So it was a real tough go.
Oh, that makes me sad. Because
Yeah. And Justin, my husband, he really is happy that he had a first experience like that as a dad with our first daughter. But he always said, and he still says to this day, can you imagine first time dads or dads that will only get this opportunity to have a child maybe once, and this was their experience, not being able to go to ultrasounds and not being able to be a part of it like that. It was a heartbreaking time. But I think that
yeah.
also emotionally kind of led to more weight gain for me as well, right? So it was
Oh,
just, yeah, it
100.
was just a shitty time. Of course, I brought two amazing babies into this world, but at the same time, it was a tough go.
Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit more about the twins, like growing them? I think people need to really hear this because you don't hear I mean, you hear twins all the time, but you don't actually meet someone that has the twins.
Well, I
So
got
like,
stories. I got stories. And you
yeah.
want me to be an open book? I'll be an open book.
Yeah, like I'm just so curious because I mean, I grew one baby back when
Mm-hmm.
I was 19, and that's it. And I'm happy that you said you start gaining in different areas
Yes.
because that happened to me. And that was very frustrating too, because, there's certain spots on your body that you kind of watch. And then when they start growing in different areas, like my backside,
Mm-hmm.
I was getting real pissed because I couldn't see it still. I just wanted to talk more about that because, like, how do you deal with having two people inside of you? Like, and then how do you even deal with bed rest? Like, what? Like,
What?
how?
What on earth?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, it was a bit crazy because our daughter was 2.5, or no, 3, I guess we could say she was 3, during the later parts of my pregnancy. And so having a 3-year-old trying to wonder what, like trying to understand why mommy is so sore and why mommy is so tired and why mommy can't get out of bed and why do we have grandma and Nana and all these people here helping. It was really tough. And
Yeah.
so she went through it as well. She went through the ringer as well emotionally as a little kid, which really sucked. Yeah, nobody talks about bed rest. Everyone thinks, oh, lucky you. You go off work, you get to lay around, you get people making food for you. And yeah, no, it is awful. You feel helpless. You feel sore because you're just laying there. It's not a good situation. So my pregnancy was very tough. The funniest story that if you're wanting me to share about what's it like to grow two humans.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the term lightning crotch?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So lightning crotch is a thing, and it is when a baby or two, and it's more likely when you have two in there because there's no less space for them to grow, is that they're sitting on a nerve right basically quite honestly right above your vagina. So what would happen to me is that, so my girl, she was the one that was a little lower. And so she at the time was just constantly sitting on a nerve and quite still does that to me. She hits a nerve all the time. She's a little firecracker right from in uterus. Yes, no, we always knew she was going to be trouble. So she would give me what was called lightning crotch, where all of a sudden I'd be sitting there watching TV and I would just go, and I'd feel like I'm getting like a stroke of lightning through my vagina. And it is absolutely horrendously painful. And it lasts,
Oh my God.
it lasts a few minutes. So, and then it goes away and then it might come back like a few minutes later. And so it was, that was always a good time.
Did you ever try to move her? Like,
yes.
Hey,
absolutely.
get the fuck up.
Get the fuck up. Get up there. Stop kicking I honestly, I thought she was like trying to stick her friggin' leg out of me at like 14 weeks, I swear.
She probably was. Like,
she was like,
get
me out of here. My brother's taking up too much room. It was awful because they were two good sized babies. They were 7'4" and 6'2". So like,
they're good.
Yeah. So they were good for twins. Like that's big for twins. So, and I had them at 36 weeks and that's normal. That's full term for twins. So if you can imagine how much they even would have grown even further after that, like, no, I'm good, but I don't want 16 pounds of baby in me right now. No.
Right.
So it was tough. And I just think that kind of really set the tone for just hating my body because my body changed. And not that I didn't hate my body before. As I said, I was always a big girl. I always struggled with that. I always wished I was smaller, that type of thing. But I really, really started to hate my body after I had my twins because I found that the weight just sat lower. It sat heavier on me. So I became a little more maybe pear-shaped, I guess. Like, so it kind of sat right around my waist. I had a very large, what I call mom apron. And now that I'm 140 pounds down, that mom apron is now loose skin. So there's that. It's just, I don't think you're ever 100% happy with a body. A woman is always going to critique herself when we shouldn't. I know we shouldn't do that, but we do. So there's always little parts here and there that I thought, oh, God, you know what? This tummy gave me 3 humans and has brought me through a lot. But eventually, probably, hopefully, I'd like to get that mom apron removed. Yes.
Yes, because I feel like the mom apron is different than the regular apron.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I got to see a bunch of different body types when we were in Canada.
Right, yes. Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is that you can totally tell who had kids and who didn't have kids.
Oh, really? That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, like I noticed, so the women that have more of like not a wide, more like pushed out,
mm-hmm.
and they don't have like the hips and that kind of part, like your muffin tops.
Yep.
They are the ones that haven't had kid yet. And then the ones that have, you can tell like hips are out. We had a longer, wider apron.
Yes.
I would say mine extends from like hip to hip.
Same, exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how I was like, oh, you can tell. Like as I'm getting older, I was like, now I get those grandmas that are like, oh, you've had a few kids. You haven't had any yet. I'm like that old lady now. I'm like, oh, I can totally tell. And the mom apron's longer. It just is longer. And it's fucking frustrating because we have the flap because we had a baby. Regardless of who you are, like you're going to have something unless you're, your job is to work out and be fucking beautiful your whole life. Like that's just not feasible with normal people, especially someone that just had twins. Like that's not going to be happening by any means. I know I want it done too. So maybe we can go in at the same time. We can be like besties getting our aprons taken away.
That'd be fun to experience that together. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I would love it.
Yeah, I've been talking to Rob, and yeah, definitely. I think that's one of my goals. And then possibly you might see me compete in RBT, maybe. We'll
Yeah.
see.
That would be perfect for us. We can get in like the best fucking shape for RBT.
Yes.
And then we go and get our skin removal.
Yep.
And then we can enter back in for the next one and be like, "Hi, no
Yeah.
skin
I
here.
know, right?
What?"
That'd be
Oh yeah.
fun. And I love the idea that you launched on the waiting table about
Oh yes.
about JBY and having that kind of first little stage presence thing. That's so cool. I love
Right?
that. So that'll be fun.
I so for those that don't know that we're not watching the waiting table, what's wrong with you? They're on Wednesdays
Right?
at like 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we announced that we are going to bring bariatric bodybuilding to JBY.
Hmm.
We already know it's going to be Friday. It's going to be the full evening time where you're going to compete. You're going to do your swimwear, and then you're going to actually get your awards at JBY the next day. So you won't know if you won yet until the following day, and we'll put the medals on you and do all the things. And even that morning, we're going to have a wellness morning like we always do, and we're going to have a posing session so everybody can learn how to pose and do their routines together. It's crazy that it's in 2027. We already have like parts of it planned.
For
Like,
sure. No, that was a great
right?
little conversation we had at dinner there that night. I thought this is
Mm-hmm.
a great idea. I
Yes.
love it.
And me and Rob already said like we're going to be in it too with you guys, so that will be so fun. So I'm just stoked because I turned 39 this year in October, and then we'll do RBT, and then I'll be turning 40. So I was like, I'm going to be in the best fucking shape for my
Yes.
40th. And then that means we'll go get skin removal. Like,
Right? And it's just, yeah, it's just almost like a little completion of your, and as I say, this journey never ends, but it's like the completion of that component where you can then fucking kick ass in the gym and you'd start to see those results more than what you, it's just plain as day, is more than what you would see it if it's hidden under your skin, right? It's just the way it is. So I love that. And I'm very excited. I think maybe even for myself, I'm just 41 now, so I'm already in my 40s, but I can already see and feel that like my 40s is going to be a kick-ass decade. I think
yeah.
that I have new goals now, and as my kids grow up a little bit, I'll have a little bit more time, obviously, in the next 10 years. I know it sounds like crazy, like 10 years. You think like a 10-year goal, but I think getting into like the best fucking shape of my life could be a 5-year goal, maybe. I think that could
Yeah.
be a 5-year goal. Yeah.
100%. And I think it's great to have goals, guys. Like, this
Yes.
lifestyle is all about goals. And whether that's physical goals, mental goals, fucking work goals,
Yeah.
you just need to have goals. Like,
Yeah.
that's just so important. So you're from Canada. They all know this. So the system's different. So
Yeah,
you
a little
had,
bit.
so you have the twins. You said that you gained a lot of weight with the twins. So how far did you gain?
My highest, oh yeah, I don't think I ever said my highest. I think the highest that
Mm-mm.
I really saw on the scale was 286.
Okay.
I'm sure at one point or another I was at the 300 mark. I know it.
Yeah.
I just stopped getting on the scale for a while because I was
Well,
like,
that's what
yeah,
we do.
nobody needs to
Mhm.
see that. Yeah, so 286, I always just say was my highest recorded weight. And that was right before my surgery. And I had decided while I was pregnant, actually, quite honestly, I think it was even before I had the twins, that I had decided that this is something I wanted to do for myself. 7 years prior, I knew some folks who had bariatric surgery locally here. Like I wasn't on the Instagram, I wasn't in this bariatric community here on social media. So I saw the benefits. I saw how hard it was to do it, but I thought I could do that. I think I could do that life. And I contemplated bariatric surgery for 7 years, and I thought I was scared because, you start mourning the life that you think like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to enjoy food again and all of these things that you start worrying about. But no, I thought, you know what? I'm going to talk about goals. I was like, okay, I'm going to have kids. That's my goal. I want to be a mom. And then after I'm done having my children, I will then take care of myself and I will have bariatric surgery and I will get myself into, better shape for my children, for me, for my children. And that's exactly what I did. So after I had my twins, I made the call to my doctor, my family doctor. I think they were only 6 months old. That was, yeah,
Wow.
like it was like I got right into it. I'd be like, okay, I'm breastfeeding 2 humans. I think it was around the 6 month mark that I'm like, I'm done with that. That was a lot for me. I couldn't breastfeed, I couldn't keep up. I had to supplement with formula and stuff. It was a lot. Yeah, I think it was right at that time that I made the call to my doctor, and she basically wanted me to, she didn't need me to lose weight, 20 pounds here, 20 pounds. She just said, you know what? This is great. You're absolutely a candidate for that. But what I want you to do, she said, just start walking, just 30 minutes a day. That was really the only criteria she really wanted me to do, or homework, if you will.
Nice. Yeah.
I know some doctors will make people lose a certain number, like a certain weight, I guess, before they refer them on to a bariatric clinic. So that wasn't the case for me. But I did start walking. My schedule really sucked in that I was on mat leave, obviously, at the time still, but keeping in mind too that my oldest daughter was starting junior kindergarten right smack in the middle of COVID. So I was trying to do online learning with her on a computer. She was like 3 years old.
Oh my God.
It was like, yeah. So, and I had babies hanging off my boobs, and I was like trying to be on screen and help her with the little hand raising button and things like that a little 3-year-old doesn't know how to do, and trying to make her engage and participate in her class, all while being on camera with her teacher and 20 other children. And so this online learning thing, like during COVID, like it did not work for my daughter. And obviously for me either too. It really sucked, right? I was trying to take care of 2 babies with trying to do all that. So, and then because of that schedule, the only little 30-minute time that I had to myself to go walk, like my doctor had wanted me to, was at like fucking midnight.
I was going to say, it's probably late.
Yeah. And so by that time it was winter. So, minus 25 degrees Celsius. And I was out there at midnight doing my walk. And I thought, damn it, I'm fucking doing it, and I want to do this. Like I'm going to do it. And I did. And then it was, what was it? Like maybe 2 weeks or so, I think I got the call from the bariatric clinic, and they sort of entered me officially into this 1-year pre-op program. And I got going with it right away. And COVID was still going on, though, at that point. It kind of was like a second wave of it at that point when I was ready for my surgery. I was gearing up for surgery. And then all elective surgeries were canceled. I had my date booked. It was supposed to be, I think the following year. Yeah, we're talking a year now, because that, as I say, it was about a year program. So it was January 7th, I think my surgery was supposed to be, of 2022. Second wave or third or fourth or whatever the fuck it was of COVID had hit. And so, as I say, all elective surgeries had come to a halt in Ontario, Canada. So I was really bummed because I was on my 7-day pre-op diet. So I had already started my diet, and then they canceled my surgery. Exactly. And fun story is that day 3 of my pre-op diet was New Year's Eve.
Shit.
Right. So this is the timeline. I'm thinking this is all making sense. I'm giving the right dates. This makes sense. Because it was New Year's Eve. And as I say, my scheduled surgery was January 7th. So I was, it was tough because we had people here. They ordered sushi and everything. And I'm sitting here in the living room smelling all the food and just trying to just steer clear of it, sipping my water. And I think I was eating steamed broccoli because that was part of my program. I was allowed a few different vegetables, like really mushy, kind of. Ugh. I thought, okay, I'm doing it. And I fucking didn't cheat once. Like I was like so proud of myself. It was like something that I was never able to do because of course I tried every diet under the sun. I tried to lose weight 1,000 times and I always fucking cheated. It's like, oh, day 2. Oh, day 1. Oh, I didn't even get through the day, with it. It was like, why can't I fucking do this? Why can't I do this? I want this so bad. Why can't I do it? I have 0 willpower. So what in the hell made me think that this would work for me? Well, I needed the physical restriction. And that's why I decided that the tool of bariatric surgery was probably going to be my answer. And here we are. So it worked. It's a life-saving tool. It really is. But yeah,
Really, really is.
it really is. So yeah, that New Year's Eve really sucked. And then as I say, I had my surgery canceled. And get this, they instructed me to remain on my diet. And I thought, what in the fuck? Like, so now I'm still going to eat like this and be starving. And then with no surgery at the end of this, this sounds really awful to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That sounds painful.
yeah, and no idea when my surgery would be rebooked, right? And so the purpose for anyone who may not know, the purpose of the pre-op diet, some people get 1 week, some people get two. I've heard of some folks even getting 3 weeks, which Lord help them. I know it's tough. It's just to shrink your liver, basically to ensure a successful surgery once the surgeon is kind of in there doing their thing. So it is beneficial, certainly. And so she said, if you don't gain any weight by the time your new surgery is booked, you won't have to redo your liquid diet. And I thought, oh,
Okay.
okay, all right, that's some incentive at least. But think about how hard that's going to be then. So now I'm going back to eating, let's call it normal, real food, back to the old Erin eating habits, as much as I obviously had to avoid that. So it's portion control, lower calorie, low carb, low sugar. So all of the things that I had tried to do for 15 plus years, right?
Yeah. And
So I was like,
oh
God,
boy.
this sucks, right? But I just thought, okay, my surgery is going to be here before I know it. It's all worth it. And so then I ended up getting a call, and I had my surgery back booked again, I think 1 week out, and it ended up being March 4th. So
Okay. Did
I
you
knew
do that the whole time?
I did. I
Holy
fucking
shit.
did. So from January 7th, or well, New Year's Eve really, but to March 4th, let's say March 2nd, because the 2 days prior to your surgery, it is not only those vegetables that my program allowed, it is not protein shakes, it is not any of that. It is fucking just water.
Clear. Yeah, it's clear liquid,
Clear
guys.
liquids. So
Yeah.
imagine that on my almost 300-pound tummy. Okay. So going from eating normally or somewhat normally to then just 2 days of straight just fluids. I was fucking starving.
I believe
So
it. Oh boy.
that pre-op diet, obviously, as crappy as it is, it really does help with that 2 day pre-op, like clear liquids only business. Cause it's, your stomach's like giving up on the fact that you're not giving it food,
Yeah. It's
it's like,
fuck you.
fine, fine. You're not feeding me anymore. I get it. But yeah, so it was really tough. But in the end, I was just fucking pumped for it. And I did the damn thing and I'm still doing the damn thing. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you got to go in, was it a little lifted from the COVID stuff? So like Justin could be there and you didn't have to be alone, or how did that work?
He was able to, no, he wasn't. No, he dropped me off. That's right. He wasn't able to be in still. So he dropped me
Wild.
off. I walked on in there and then he was able to come in and get me after my surgery. He did come in. I wasn't really awake enough or with it enough to really remember. I slept obviously the whole time, but he did end up coming after my surgery. And I only stayed the one night. Like it wasn't anything really crazy in terms of recovery. Yeah, and he took me home. I stayed with my mom actually because we lived 3 hours north of the hospital that I had my surgery at because we had also, I know all these things happened all at once. We also moved in the midst of that as well. And yeah, that was a bit tough too to navigate that. But we moved about 3 hours north. So, but I wanted to stick with my program, and I knew my surgeon, and I kind of wanted to stick to that. So I thought everything is almost virtual visits anyway, so I don't really need to do that 3 hour drive very much, through my pre-op process. So yeah, so we drove down there, had my surgery. I stayed with my mom for 2 weeks, I think it was. And yeah, I got all taken care of and recovered, and yeah.
So for those that don't know, so with the liver shrinking diet, I wanted to go back on that just 1 second. So because I got to watch some surgeries. So your liver sits actually basically on top of your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it needs to shrink, shrink, shrink. So that way they can have easier access to it.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest deals. And I don't know if yours did, but they tested my stomach. They came back and were like, hey, just want to let you know your stomach looked good. There's no ulcers, no like weird bacteria or anything issues. Did they do that for you too?
I do believe well, I did have an no, gastroscopy, if I'm saying that right. It's like a gastroscope. So basically it went down, the camera went, which is a whole other story. Actually, I should share this one too
Yeah.
without scaring anyone who's in pre-op and needing this test. I will start by saying I did not have the normal or the typical experience. Let me say that. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
I will preface it with this. So it was the one thing actually as part of my pre-op program that I was fearful of. I was more scared of this test than I was with my actual surgery. I don't know why. I just had a feeling that it was going to be awful. And I guess I was right because it was awful.
Yeah, your intuition.
Yes, my anesthetic never took. So,
Shit.
yeah, so I had a full dose of anesthetic. Apparently, it was a IV in my hand. And they said that you're not going to go to sleep. Like it was a full anesthetic, but it was like you're awake and you're breathing on your own, but you're not going to know what the fuck's going on. Like that type of anesthetic. So then they put the camera down your throat. Your mouth is sort of propped open with these big guards, and you're on your side. So the IV string is kind of like, and the camera string or cord, whatever you want to call it, is sort of laying across you, but you're on your side, so your hands are kind of tied.
Yeah, yeah.
So that, if you can picture that. So I'm thinking I'm going to just count down any second. And as you know, if you've ever had any kind of anesthetic, you know that you just go out, right? And you just wake up and it's done. Well, that was what everyone told me. Oh, relax. It's so easy. You're just going to fall asleep and then you're going to wake up and it'll be done. You know, we won't know anything. Yeah, no. The anesthetic never took. And so they started to put the camera down my throat, and I was, of course, gagging and awake, and it was very painful. And of course, I couldn't talk because it was down my throat. I couldn't move because I was laying on one arm, and then my other arm had the IV in it with the anesthesiologist holding my arm because I was trying to move it. I was trying to grab the camera and the tube and pull it out of my mouth. And all I could do was, like I couldn't make a sound. I couldn't talk, but I clearly needed them to know I'm not asleep, guys. Like, stop.
Yeah.
So, and they never did. They just said, "Oh, no, it's okay, Erin. No, it'll be over in a second. You'll go out." And I never did. I never went out. So it was a really traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And so of course they pull that out, and that was what they were checking for, was the ulcers and things like you were telling, right? So that was that check.
Oh my God. I didn't have to do that. That's
wild. You
wild.
didn't have the camera down your throat. Oh gosh. Yeah, it was awful. And as I say, most people don't have that experience. Even if you don't fall fully asleep, like it's almost like you don't feel the pain. You might feel a little bit of pressure, but like you're too groggy to even care, like that type of thing. But yeah, so when I was wheeled into the little curtained recovery area after that, I had a nurse with me, and she's, tending to me and giving me my glasses back and things like that. And I was so fucking mad. I was so mad that like that was my experience, and I was starving because of course you couldn't eat either as well, right? So I was hangry. I was pissed that this was my experience. I was just in a hole. I fucking told everyone so, like mind because everyone warned me, "Oh no, you'll be fine." No. So I was sitting there. The nurse was, as I say, tending to me, and I could hear, and they're like, "Yeah, don't stand up. You're going to be a little woozy." I'm like, no, I'm not, because I didn't have any fucking anesthetic. Like something didn't get, take. So no, I'm not tired. I'm not woozy. I just want to go home. I want to go eat. That was like,
get me the fuck out of here.
Yes.
I need food.
Yes. They're like, "Well, just lay here for 20 minutes and rest. Please don't try to stand up. People will faint or fall over." I'm like, "Okay, lady." So as I'm laying there, again, curtains around me are closed, but I could hear all the other patients every 5-10 minutes or so being wheeled into their little curtained area that had just had the exact same procedure as I. I couldn't see them, of course, because of curtains and privacy, but I could hear, and I knew like I wasn't fucking sleeping like they thought I would for 20 minutes to sleep this off. So I'm just listening to everybody like get wheeled into their curtained areas, and I hear a fucking snoring. And I'm like, everyone is sleeping but me. So clearly
Yeah.
This didn't work for me specifically. So, yeah, I was real pissed, and I made very sure that I told my pre-op folks, like as part of my program, to say, for my bariatric surgery, you are going to be sure before you cut into me that I am going to be asleep, right? And funny story is that they had said, obviously they were so apologetic that this was my experience, and they just were horrified for me. However, of course, at that point, what are you going to do? It's done, said and done. And they, of course, ensured that, or assured me that I was going to have a full cocktail, full dose when it came to the surgery, and that I wouldn't even be breathing on my own. So it was like, you are out. And I said, okay, as long as you are sure. I just wanted all this documented on my pre-op file to like know that this was my experience, like make damn sure she's out.
Yeah.
So they told me there's two things that could cause the anesthetic to not take, or to not be sort of taken to the full effect. And that is that, one, you are a natural redhead. Who knew? Yeah. And two, any kind of marijuana use, which was not my case. But if you are a marijuana user, whether it's gummies, drops, smoking, anything like that, apparently that can lower sort of the effect. Yeah, so good to know.
No idea.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
what the anesthesiologist told me. But yeah, so that was fun. But needless to say, of course, for my bariatric surgery, I
You were
I was out. I was on the table. I think if I recall correctly, and it's a weird story in my head because you know how you're like almost not sure if it really happened because I was out. I think I remember saying my happy place, like, because they said, Erin, like, what's your happy place? I said, Disney World. Disney World is my happy place. And then I think she said, what's your happy song or something? And of course I started fucking singing Spice Girl.
Yes. Yes.
That was the last thing I remembered. I think I was singing like, if you want to be mine. And then of course I went out, right? And then I woke up and surgery was done. And yeah, it was a fun experience. Wild.
That is so wild.
I told you I had a story.
Yes, you did. And I'm so happy you told it because like I didn't have the scope, so I have no idea even what it feels like. And for yours, like for the anesthesia to not take, like that can happen to people. So
it can, yeah.
Like, because when my leg was broken, the morphine wouldn't take.
Oh.
Like I could feel everything they were doing. Like it was insane. And they were just God. Like, we can't, because they maxed me out on morphine. They maxed me out on my oxys. They were like, there's nothing else we can do. Like, you're just going to have to wait. And so like, I just started puking up all this shit. And like, I'm just like, make my leg stop hurting, please. Oh. So they found out that morphine just doesn't work for me. So they have to use something
like ever? Different. Like it won't ever work for you? It's just not something your body takes?
Yeah.
Oh,
had no idea.
Wow.
Yep. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Because how else are you going to find out? Like, that's how I found out I didn't, my body does not like penicillin or moxicillin. When I was either 7 or 8 years old, I had walking pneumonia, and that's what they give you. And my mom and dad freaked out because like they look at me and I'm like, everything hurts. And like, I'm just red from top to bottom. And they're like, holy shit. So they take me in, they find I'm allergic to it. I had to lay on like wet rags to cool my body down. It was insane. So yeah, no moxicillin or penicillin for this girl, or morphine. So we're going to have to figure out different cocktails to put my house.
Well, is it dilaudid? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Dilaudid. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yes. Dilaudid, Eric was on and he was out.
Yes.
He was very loopy. So that will hopefully work on me for sure.
I was on dilaudid when I had my gallbladder out too, which, yeah.
Now, the gallbladder, was that after surgery?
It was, yes.
It was. It wasn't. Do we think it's because of bariatrics? I know a lot of people have to have that out afterwards.
Yeah, it's pretty common. I had suffered from acid reflux issues, like 20 years ago. And I was told then that, if you lose a little bit of weight, that problem will probably go away, right? So, and I did, and I lost about 20 pounds, and it did indeed go away. I didn't really kind of, unless of course I was really overdoing it with like the greasy, gross food. But for the most part, that problem went away. And then randomly after my bariatric surgery, I think, gosh, what was it? It was like a year and a half, no, like 2 and a bit years. I wasn't that long ago. I'm off on my timeline, but either way, it doesn't matter. I only had one isolated event, let's call it, of like extreme pain of the acid reflux. And it was like in my chest, like in my esophagus, it was in my stomach, like it was like my whole core was like shutting down. And it was intensifying so much that I couldn't drive. Like I had just dropped off my kids at school and this came on very suddenly. And I had to call Justin. I was like, I don't know what's happening to me. Like I can't move. Like I'm in so much pain. I felt like I was being stabbed by knives, like in my core.
Oh,
And I thought, what the hell is this? Like, because it was a
yeah.
very different feeling than what my acid reflux, issues gave me before. So nonetheless, it was so bad that I eventually had to kind of pull through, drive 5 minutes home, which I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're in that much pain, I was like, no, I can't drive. Like I can't even focus right now on anything but this pain. But I did push
Yeah.
through. I got home and I told my husband, I was like, you need to call an ambulance. Like, this is not right. Something is not right. And so, yeah, I went to the hospital in an ambulance and they discovered very clearly that I had like massive gallbladder issues and gallstones. So they just had made their way down like the tube, I guess, or however they transfer down, just enough that it was bothering me. And they said, yeah, you need to get your gallbladder out ASAP because the way they described it to me actually was not, the way they described it to me was really not very helpful. I will say that Dr. Eric Smith, actually, who is a wonderful human being on this community too, he is the one who explained it to me actually because I reached out to him and he's always such a great doctor. Him and Dr. Joe as well.
Yes.
Dr. Joe Cribbins. I reached out to both of them and they both were so helpful with me. And they both described it so well. And that if you have gallstones and you have had bariatric surgery, your anatomy obviously is different with gastric bypass than prior to having gallbladder surgery, obviously. So it would be that your gallstones move down towards your pancreas and kind of can go into like a bile duct. And if you've had gastric bypass, I don't know if the sleeve is the same, but if you've had gastric bypass, you can't get to them very easily, right? In like, so if you better get them and you better catch it soon, basically, and get that gallbladder out before they cause more problems, basically, is how they described it to me. So I was like, okay, all right, I guess I'm getting my gallbladder out. Because I was like, really? It was only one isolated event. I hadn't had this feeling since, God, 20 years back. Do I really need to go through another surgery? But yeah,
No, you do.
Dr. Eric was like, go now. So I did. And yeah, I had my gallbladder out and it was another horrendous. God, I sound like just a big pile of complaints here. It was another horrendous surgery. It didn't go well. My recovery was about 1,000 times worse than my bariatric surgery recovery, which, right? Because everyone's like, it's the same damn thing, the same 5 little laparoscopic incisions on your tummy, no big deal. So I was off work after that for 9 weeks. I wasn't allowed to go to work, which was another issue. Because it sucks,
Sure.
right? You're just like,
Yeah.
you feel so helpless. So yeah, I was off for 9 weeks because of no heavy lifting. So that was really the instruction there. I couldn't lift over 10 pounds. So
you want to tell people what you do for a living so they understand why that 10 pounds is so important?
Yes. Well, so I mean, everything I do is over 10 pounds. Let's just say that. So my 3 children.
Yeah.
So, lifting them up into the bath or on the change table or anything else at the time. They're a little older now, so I don't have that issue. But nonetheless, sometimes, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, they have tantrums. You got to pick them up. So yeah, I couldn't pick my kids up. And then at work, I am a bakery manager. So I have very early morning hours. So that's why I'm just so, I've got so much on the go, and this is why I moved. So my boxes, for example, of dough or ingredients with like flour, if you can picture, they're all very heavy boxes. So yes. Bread boxes, things like that of my bread dough and stuff. It's no biggie to be a 70-pound box. So that's what I say earlier in the recording here. I had mentioned that cardio, it's just my life. And quite honestly, some of the heavy lifting too. So I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly lifting heavy boxes and children. That's just what I do.
Yep.
And I'm just quite honestly, I never sit down. I'm always on my feet. So it's a very rare case where I would sit down and watch like a TV show. Like that's a very weird thing for me. I wish I had more time to do it. And the odd time I do have time to do that, I feel bizarre. I
I'm
feel like if I
sure.
have a quiet house and I happen to be sitting down watching a show, I'm like, no, I don't know. This is weird. Like, and then I start thinking, oh, I have that laundry and oh, I have this to do and I should be doing that. And it's like, so I just don't sit
Yep.
down. So that is my job and that is my life. And so to be taken away from that again and not be able to go to work, a bit tough. And the recovery was really hard. I was just very, very sore. I couldn't move for a long time,
Wow.
particularly on my right side. And it was, very bruised. Obviously, my 5 incisions bruised way more than even my 5 incisions for my bariatric surgery. So I thought, oh, well, different surgeon, different tools, maybe whatever, no big deal. I'll bounce back. But the one incision was so painful and so black and blue that I thought, that's not right. Like something's weird
Yeah.
here. So when I went for my follow up with the surgeon who did my gallbladder surgery, it was only then that I realized, well, no wonder I was having a tough recovery because he said, oh, yeah, that was a doozy. I said, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And because I didn't think anything went wrong because they sent me home 90 minutes after my surgery. Like, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's nice, right? So you're out of surgery, you wake up and, I was still on the operating table, I'm sure. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was in a recovery room. I don't know. But I remember them saying, okay, we're going to get up and walk around there. And I remember thinking, and I said out loud, are you serious? Like what? Or I'm not on the operating table still? Like, what is this? What's happening? But yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. So they're like, yeah, no, you're fine. It all went really well. And then they moved me into this. They wanted me to get up. I went into a chair and they did some paperwork. And then they're like, okay, you're free to go. You can call your husband and here's your clothes. Here's your bag. Here's your winter boots. And I'm like, you want me to lean over now and put these winter boots on now? Like, you're not going to help me
What
put my,
the fuck?
like, honestly. And so it was just like, I'm thinking, oh, wow, okay, they think nothing of this surgery and recovery. Obviously, it's an easy peasy, like, no big deal. So it wasn't until a few weeks later when I had this follow-up appointment that the surgeon himself said, yeah, it was a friggin' doozy. Like, the gallstone that he was trying to remove was so large and so porous, I guess would be the right word, that he couldn't get it out. He had to use larger tools, more aggressive tools, and break this apart. So if you picture almost like a piece of charcoal, if I could say that, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it was like that. I'm sorry to be graphic, but like for anyone who might go through this, like that's just what it is. So no wonder that one incision that had these ginormous tools having to be put into, that one particular opening in my stomach was so black and
Yeah.
blue and so sore. So yeah, it was a bit of a rough recovery, but
Shit.
I have proven time and time again that I can bounce back.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah.
strong as fuck,
Yeah.
girl, inside and out, like
Yeah.
100%. Like you're going into endoscopes with fucking no anesthetic
Right?
working. You get your gallbladder out. You have massive fucking crystals in there. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, Erin, you're gonna go all the
I go
way.
big.
Like
I go big. Yep.
yeah, go big or go home,
That's
man.
what I
Like
said with my
oh,
twins. I'm like, I'm not just going to grow one. I'm going
see?
to grow two.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
You always gotta do it harder and
I do.
better.
I always got to show up, right?
Oh my god, I feel for you because like I watched just my brother have a kidney stone, and he was
Hmm.
just on the ground. Like he
Yes.
was like, "Holy shit, I'm on the ground." He's like, Melanie, the cold floor actually really helps, and I was like,
Oh,
really? And
wow.
he goes, yeah, I have to lay a certain way, and like until he had the moment of I should just go to the doctor,
Yes.
you know. Men like to wait, and I'm like, what are you waiting for? You're on the ground.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. That's
if
hilarious
you
though, that like you find out certain things like just a cold floor is going to help.
yeah, yeah. He's like, it just feels so good, and he's like, he had to lay in an L shape for him to sleep
Gosh.
on the floor, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
That's
Like,
hilarious.
but yeah, it's really normal to have gallstones, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had to take that pill for like a full year to help try to prevent gallstones, which it did. It worked for me. I didn't have any issues, but
Yeah, I
I
did
have
have that
heard,
pill too. I did have that
yeah,
pill as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it still didn't take. It
Oh,
still didn't.
another story. Side
Oh,
story about
yeah,
that
yeah.
pill, about that
Oh,
pill.
okay.
And just, going on the whole, like, apparently I do it up, right?
Yeah.
So that particular pill, and I'm going to try very hard to remember the name of it because I got switched to a different pill. It's not going to come to me right away, but
That's okay.
nonetheless, it was causing a very strange reaction. And so when I called my clinic, I thought, what is this happening to me? They're like, oh, yeah, it's probably the pill and whatever the name was, right? So
Yeah.
what was happening was that I was, it sounds so awful, it sounds so gross. So just TMI, I don't know, like if you're queasy, just maybe tune out for just a second. But I was getting fucking fur growing on my tongue, Mel.
What?
Yes.
That's
That is a thing. So it was like a thick, yellow, furry paste, you can call it, on the back of my tongue. And I thought, what the fuck is this?
yeah.
So obviously it was bothering me enough. And I mean, I have great oral hygiene. It wasn't that. I'm scrubbing it with, I got a tongue scraper. I was brushing my teeth like in the back of my tongue so far. It didn't hurt. It didn't feel, there was no pain. It just felt weird. Like it just, like if you feel like there's hair in your throat.
That's so wild.
I know, I just follow the stories. So yeah, so when I called them, I was like, what the fuck is this? And then like, oh yeah, that might be a side effect of this pill. And I'm like,
You're like,
well, get me off of it then. Like, I'm fine. I haven't had acid reflux issues in so long. I think I'm okay. Can I go off of it, or is there another pill? So they did end up switching me to something else, and it did go away. So it was
oh,
indeed
good.
that pill. Gosh, I wish I could remember the name of it. But anyways, if you happen to be on a an acid reflux pill that's causing hairy, furry tongue, that's what it is. So
And
yeah.
go tell your doctor so they can
Yes.
switch you
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. So oh my God, when I say all this shit out loud, I do have a wild story, don't I?
You do. You totally do. Oh,
Do.
yeah. I think that's the thing is that people forget that they actually do,
Yeah,
especially
because
when
you just go through it. You just do it.
yeah,
And
you're
you
just
just,
like,
yeah, it's only when you really start recapping it all in one conversation, you're like, fuck, man, I've been
you're like,
through the
I've really been
ringer.
through it. Yeah, you have.
Yep.
100%. Like it's a wild take, but what I love is you're still in like one, you love the fact that you did the surgery. You call it your tool, you're using your tool, and you're happy that you
Oh,
did
yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
even with all this random shit that
Oh,
you had to
hands
deal with.
down. Yeah.
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 So it's
All these things combined are hands down, um, just far better to deal with than the emotional and physical pain I was feeling when I was almost 300 pounds. It
yeah.
was awful.
Yeah.
I was pre-diabetic. Both my parents have diabetes, so I knew I was very much so headed in that direction. I had gestational diabetes with both of my pregnancies. So I was on insulin injections for that. And I know that weight doesn't always coincide with that. Like there are obviously slim people that can get gestational diabetes, but nonetheless, I thought, oh, fuck, that's me again with my weight causing issues. Um, so there was that. And then I had a lot of pain in my feet. Most actually days they were numb. The tops of my feet were numb. And
Shit.
it's kind of almost like pins and needles, like prickly feeling kind of, because it was like,
Yeah.
my feet were carrying so much weight. So it was just a circulation issue. I slept every chance I could. So if my kids were sleeping, I was sleeping. I had zero motivation to live, quite honestly, if I'm really going to be blunt.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, I'm here for my kids, but like, I wasn't the mom that I wanted to be, or I knew that I should be or could be. So that was, yeah, all that hands down, all of what the shit I've been through is way better than the life I'd be living or not living. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, you never know. All that
You
weight on a
never
heart, it's never good.
No, and it's sad because I've heard like because my family is such a big family, like big people,
Mm-hmm.
heart failure is a deal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
heart
It's
disease
scary.
is real, guys. Like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start the pod, was because I've watched my dad have a heart attack. I watched my dad have a stroke, and I watched my dad actually die. So it's like, guys, they're in everything that he went through. And I'm not mad at you, Dad. I love you to death, but
Oh.
there's so much that was preventable
Hmm.
that the Austins just didn't know. Like they're from the 50s and 60s. They were drinkers, they were smokers, they're eating fried food. They're they're always in survival mode. It was never like, how do we stay healthy? It was more or less like, okay, I can afford mayonnaise sandwiches and this, for today. So this is what we're eating. Like my
Oh,
dad loved
yeah.
mayonnaise sandwiches and it was disgusting.
Just mayonnaise?
But
That's it? That's that one?
yeah,
With, wow, I've never heard of that, but okay. Interesting.
right? I mean, every once in a while there'd be a slice of cheese, but yeah, he loved them, and that was definitely hurting your heart, guys. Like
Right.
your valves don't like all that mayonnaise or that white bread. Let's
Right. Yeah.
you
Oh
know,
gosh. Yeah.
all the cigarettes being smoked. Like my grandma, when she passed, I was like 13 or 12 or 13 years old. And she was that lady that had the oxygen machine next to her while she was smoking cigarettes. Like
Oh yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that was my grandmother. Like,
Hmm.
and she was adorable. Was a little grandma, but like seriously, like they just didn't either one care or two know
Yeah, they
enough to
didn't, the
know.
education wasn't there
Mm-mm.
for,
Not
yeah,
back
for them
then.
to have back then. That's true. My dad went through the same type of deal. My dad is still living. However, he has had his leg amputated due to diabetes. Always has, so he's in a long-term care facility. Very large man, didn't take care of himself, all those things. And it's heartbreaking for me. But obviously, when you watch your parents and your parents are heavier, and then you see that this is the direction that you're now
Yeah.
going, it's like, no, I need to stop this cycle and be
Yes.
here for my kids. And not that my mom and my dad weren't here for me. Of course they were and still are. It's just that I just didn't want to live that life. I didn't want to be controlled by food.
Yeah, and
So,
I didn't want to be controlled by my health, which sounds interesting. Like
mhm.
in like the bad way. Like I'm happy now that I have all this energy and I can do stuff, but I hated knowing that like Dylan wants to go to the beach and I know I'm going to have to walk that sand dune and
Yep.
I'm going to cry
Oh yeah.
inside,
Yeah.
I'm just like gearing up for it, and it's just like I'm so happy I don't have that mental part anymore of
Hmm.
fearing of like walking up dunes, climbing stairs, going on hikes. Like being able to be physical is so worth the surgery,
Oh yeah.
because they couldn't do those things. And even my mom is a hospice nurse, and we've talked about it because she's still a bigger lady, and she's like, I don't want to be where in a facility where someone has to take care of me. And I was like, then mom, you have to do something now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're 60 years old and you're moving big people and you're hating the fact of like, if what if this could, because this could be you, this is,
Right.
and she knows it. And so like she messages me and we talk about food and like what she should do. And I've even mentioned the surgery several times and she's like, I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know. And then her dumb fucking doctor, yeah, I'm calling you dumb, sir, because they told her she wasn't a candidate. And I
Oh
was like,
really?
I'm like, bullshit garbage. She's 240 pounds and she's 60 and she's 5'6".
Yeah,
She's
for
a
sure. That
fucking
she
candidate.
absolutely would be.
Yeah. I was like, I go, I go,
Hmm.
if you want to do it, mom, I will get you the right surgeons like in town because he's not right by any means. I was like, you're not too old because that's also a thing he said. And I go, no, no, mama. Like I had, considering Dr. Eric, Joe Cribbins, Dr. Dovak, I know all three of them and they've all done surgeries 60 plus. So you can totally do it. But she's still in that mindset of the old times where it's like, well, the doctor said, no, not going to do it.
Hmm.
No, she doesn't ask questions. And I think that's something that you can see with generations. Like
Yes.
we
Yeah.
ask, we ask a shit ton of questions. Like we're not going to just go off of Dr. fucking Smith and just because he said so. Like we let's do some follow-up stuff. So
Hmm.
I'm just happy that you one, asked all the questions. You got your surgery. You are very healthy now. So how is life, after surgery? Like, what some NSVs do you have for me? Like, what's going on now?
Gosh. Well, you were just speaking the glorious ones there, which is just being able to be present for my kids. And so if we do go to the beach, if we do go on a hike, I can be a part of it. I don't have to say no. I don't have to, let my kids miss out on that. Um, or myself, like before surgery, we went to a theme park. I sat on the sideline watching my husband go on all the rides with my daughter because I couldn't fit. Right. I couldn't fit on that with her, on those things with her. So yeah, like all just the NSVs of just living life as a mom is just the biggest is being able to just be present and involved with my kids and seeing that they, yes, of course they think, oh, mom, you're tired. Can we go to the park? Yes, I'm very tired. But can you imagine what I wouldn't have been able to have the stamina? I wouldn't have been able to have the energy before to have the schedule I have now with work and then come home and be mom until bedtime. Right. So I don't know how I would have achieved the life that I live now without this tool,
And
without
I want,
dropping that weight.
and I want you to talk a little bit more about being a mom. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
how are you a bariatric patient trying to handle all the things that we have to handle, plus 3 children and a husband?
Yeah. It's
Let's talk
tough.
about that, because
It's
that's,
tough. Yes, because, I'm prepping. Well, let's be honest, kids are picky eaters sometimes, and all 3 kids want something different. And this week they like rice. Next week they don't like rice. It's just, it depends on the day. So cooking meals, like as a mom and as a bariatric patient, those 2 roles combined is a little bit of a tricky thing because
yeah.
I will be so busy that I am not eating properly at work. That's my downfall. I am so busy at work that I don't take breaks. Therefore, I'm so busy I don't even pick up my water. Like it's like so I'm horrendous some days with my hydration and fueling my body. So shame on me. I hate that I do that to myself. But I'm so busy that I come home and I'm doing school lunch, or then I come home and I wolf down food, probably too quickly, or I choose the wrong thing. So that's the hard thing to navigate is that I know I have to properly fuel my body consistently throughout the day. Yes, I hit my protein goals all the time. Like that's not my issue. But it's just, I eat too quickly, I think, because I'm starving because I haven't eaten in several hours. And obviously too, the hydration just keeps that at bay as well. Like, so if I was staying hydrated throughout the day, I wouldn't be so starving.
It's
So
true.
I know I need to do better with that. So I come home, I do school lunch prep and I start picking. So I make my kids very healthy lunches. Like that is one thing I can say is that like obviously they'll have a little treat here and there, but for the most part, it is like a very balanced meal. That includes a carb. So whether it's like whole wheat bread with a sandwich, you've got your protein, whether it's cheese or a meat, fruits and vegetables. Like I am very good at doing a very balanced meal for my kids, and I'm very proud of that.
You should be. It's
But
hard.
thank you. So I am really, it takes me a lot of time. It takes a long time to make school lunches, especially when they don't all love the same things. Yes, you have to accommodate some things because I want my children to eat. Some moms might be like, F that. They eat what they eat. If they go hungry, then if they don't want to eat that. Well, to some extent, yes. But I want my kids to eat. I want them to be fueled for their day. And, because then their brains work better at school. And so like proper fueling, with proper food for my kids is a big thing for me. So you know what? I am going to maybe make a few different things here and there. My one daughter likes tuna sandwiches. My other ones don't. So, I do have to kind of switch things up a little bit. So it takes me a while to make school lunches. And in that while, I'm picking. So baby carrots here and there, grapes, this and that, all healthy things. But I'm not tracking it. I'm just munching, right? So then I find myself eating way more than I should be. Probably, right? I mean, I'm not tracking that. So obviously it's calories and cheese and this and that, it's fat. So here we are. Crackers, there's the carbs. And then I realize, okay, I'm full now. Now it's dinner time. And I take 2 bites of the dinner I've now prepped. and I'm full and I'm like, oh, the goddamn restriction, like this sucks. I'm like, oh no, Erin, it's just because you've been snacking for the last hour.
Yep, yep.
So, I'm guilty of that. So that's kind of a thing I'm trying to navigate now is one, really making sure that I'm better at my job at work and taking the breaks and taking time to drink my water and eat lunch, a proper lunch. It's really tough some days though, because I'm so busy at work. And then, yeah, when I get home, I really need to start focusing more on plating my food. Macro tracking is not for everyone. I'm kind of over it if I'm honest with you. Like, I mean, I hit my goals in terms of protein. I know I do. Like, there's no way around that. I always hit my protein goals. But I don't have a specific like macro that I'm aiming for carbs or fat or sugar or this or that. So obviously my goal is just to just be a balanced meal. Each, should be 3 or 5 times a day, right? 3 main meals, 2 little snacks. That's kind of like a thing. It should be. So, especially as a bariatric patient, you kind of eat smaller increments more frequently. So for
We
me,
do.
right? So for me, I think if I can focus better on plating my food, I'll see what I'm eating. I'll be able to say, okay, this is my meal or this is my snack, and then I'm going to stop. And if I'm full before I'm done my plate, absolutely, which that happens a lot still too. I'll take 2 bites of something and I'm full. I wait 10, 15 minutes. That restriction kind of goes away a little bit and then I can finish. So, and therefore, because if I stopped after 2 bites, I wouldn't be getting my nutrition. I wouldn't be getting enough, right? So I do need to allow myself that 10, 15 minutes to kind of just ease
I
back
do the
into my
same.
plate.
Hmm.
And that makes me happy because actually Dr. Joe was the one who said, like, this is perfect because I was getting frustrated with this. And he said, no, 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 this is showing you that your tool is still working for you. Like,
Yeah, it is.
so stress, huge, huge factor for my restriction. So when I'm stressed, my restriction is very high. So that basically is opposite for a lot of people. Sometimes when you're stressed, you just can eat, even as a bariatric patient. So I
Yep.
was the opposite, I found. And I was concerned about that. I'm like, why is my restriction so high right now? Like this, I feel like I'm like
Yeah.
a week post-op. This sucks, But he said, no, 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 this is actually a great thing because it's showing that you're 3 years out, your tool is still working for you. Because you always
I
wonder,
love
did I
it.
damage my tool? Did I damage? Am I going back to, you always think, did I stretch my pouch and all of these things? And that's what the snacking can do. If you
It really
keep,
can.
it can, because then you don't know how much you're eating and therefore slowly you're stretching your stomach out again. And so, I mean, you see it happen. I see it all the time. Unfortunately, folks that are, 5 years out, 10 years out, whatever, you start to see, oh shoot, they've gained their weight back and maybe even more. And it's like, it's heartbreaking because you work so hard at it.
Yes. Yes.
So it can happen. And so obviously that's always in the back of my mind. So that is one thing that as a mom, as a busy mom, I'm trying
Mhm.
to navigate that a little better. And that's my picking, my snacking here and there.
Well, and I'm glad that you said the plate thing because I've
Yeah.
heard that a lot from dietitians. They say it's so good if you at least plate it
Yeah.
because then you're not mindlessly eating it out of a bag or out of a can or whatever you're doing. It's actually on your plate and you can visibly see what you're putting in, and that way you're more mindful about what you're putting into your body. So I'm so happy that you're doing that because
Yes.
that's
I think
very, very important.
it's an important little trick.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, one of those separated plates like some people like to, right? Or I often actually will eat off of a toddler plate only just because of the size of it.
Yeah.
Because I find that if I plate food, a big plate, I'll just obviously naturally plate more. And then I think that
Yep.
I have to finish it. So it's like, no, I don't.
Yes.
So 3 years out, I am still every single day trying to say to myself, I'm a bariatric patient. You're a bariatric patient, Erin. You don't need this much. Like, I just plated myself lunch. I plated way more than I needed. Like, why do I still do this? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. So I don't know if that ever goes away. But yeah, the whole term, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Clearly,
Is
it's still a
real.
thing. Still a thing. Yes.
Well, and I would love to tell you that it goes away, but at 10 years out, I still think about it. I still, all the time, I'm like, you're Melanie. What are you doing? Especially, okay, so funny side note is I love Sizzler. I don't know if you guys ever had a Sizzler up there, but I love the salad bar because they have the little chopped up ham, and I would always put that in my salads.
Yeah.
So even to this day, like, yes, during COVID, they closed the one in Salem. So we only have one that's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes from us. And yes, I will go because I love it so much every once in a while, but I still plate it. It is massive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where any of this food is really going, and I feel like an asshole because I know, like, I even tried one time to plate it small, and it still ended up huge. And I
And
was
that's
like,
the thing with salad bars or buffets. You
oh,
can't. You start small and then you get a spoonful of this and that, and then before you know, you have a full like mound of food. Like I know,
yeah.
I've done it too.
It's so annoying, but it's so delicious. So like,
Yeah.
and I'll just be at Sizzler for a good hour, maybe
Oh yeah.
more, so I can just slowly eat my salad because it's so good. Because I do fill it with veggies, but with the topping though is like ham, cheese, and so much ranch, and it's
Oh yum. See, that
yeah,
sounds very American to me, and I love that. It's
right.
so good. We don't have a sizzler, I don't think, up here. But yeah, I can picture that. And even just like the United States of America has the best ranch. It's very different.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I love ranch dressing when I'm down when I'm down there.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of different places make it homemade now.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's not just the Hidden Valley, it's their ranch. And like, I'm a ranch connoisseur, not gonna lie. I will judge you on your ranch. So like, I will go to certain places just because I'm like, oh, great fries, great ranch.
Oh, okay.
Done. Done deal.
Done
So
deal.
when you're here, I will take you to Hops and Drops. I was just there with Frank yesterday.
Oh
Frank's a
yeah.
patron, my
Yeah.
Vinci, I love him. And yeah, we went to Hops and Drops and their ranch and their fucking fries. Like I
Hey.
was that girl that would so each fry is 10 calories. That's how much I love fries. And so I would back in the day I would put out 10 fries. I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
I'm like 100 calories. This is what I'm doing. I need my fry fix.
Yeah. And that's good
Because
though that you can balance it that way. Like you're still getting the foods
yeah.
that you want and that you love, but obviously in moderation, right? So that's always a
Well,
good thing.
that's kind of that thing I was going to ask you too. Do you see food differently now? Because now my brain is completely different when I look at food.
Um, yes, like in terms of, okay, well, explain what you mean different because I feel like there's two different ways you can look at
There
food.
is. So one, I think of it as sizing, quantity. I still get freaked out about how much food I could put away.
Yes, yeah.
It's very wild to me. And then basically like when I look at food now, I'm like, I don't like if I don't like it, I'm not putting it in my mouth anymore. Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
I even if I don't like it a little bit, I'm like, nope, not
Yeah.
doing it.
It's not
Yep.
worth the calories basically to you when your calories are so limited. Yeah. It's funny you say that because I used to, and well, I still do actually, is that I would say it's a no value bite to me.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
like,
okay.
right. So like if I'm eating a chicken Caesar wrap or something, right? Because I'm not one of these ones that it's like, oh, it has to be a low carb wrap or no, I'm going to have a normal wrap. I'm just going to eat a half of it or whatever. So, but if you know how you eat your wrap, you're getting through your chicken, your cheese, your lettuce, your mayo, whatever's in it, you get down to the bottom where it's all folded and it's like mostly just tortilla. Yeah, that's a no value bite to me. So I'm like, it's good. I'm enjoying it, but I clearly don't need this right now. Like, so I'll just toss
Hmm.
that and I'll say, okay, now I'm going to start on something else. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I don't know if that's just a term I've used, no value bite. And that's not to say that, there's no nutrition in and other vitamins in things like carbs. They're not evil, but to me, it wasn't adding anything to my plate. So I'll toss
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
I no, I do the same thing with burritos.
Mhm.
I'll open them and then I just take that side flour tortilla off because I'm like,
Yes, yeah.
I don't need that extra
Right.
tortilla.
Yeah.
So I just toss that now, and I do the same thing with the top and bottom. Like I'll not the top, I'll eat the top, but the bottom I do the same. I just toss it.
Yeah. Do you know
Give
what
me
a
anything.
Dagwood sandwich is?
I don't.
Okay, so it's like a massive like submarine sandwich, a big deli meat sub, and it's like a huge French loaf, like a huge loaf of bread. So what I'll do is we sell those at work actually. So like I bake the bread, the French bread, and the deli department does the sandwiches up. So I'll often buy one of those for lunch. And obviously I can't eat anywhere near that. Like you can buy a quarter sandwich, a quarter, a half, or a full. So even when I buy a half, I'll take a few bites with the bread because it's
Yep.
delicious and I love it. And then I know I'm going to get too full, or I just don't want to consume that many carbs. So I'll remove both bottom and top. And and the way they layer the sandwich, they have the mayo and mustard, and then there's lettuce, like shredded lettuce. So what I do is I take the meat, and it's like this thick. It's like an inch thick, and of meat and cheese and lettuce and tomato. And I think there's some like sliced red onion usually on it too. So I'll take that, I'll roll all that up, but I'll use my hands, and I often eat in my car because this is me. This is my busy life. I eat in the car, and I scrape all the mayo, mustard, and lettuce off, and I put it on the other side of the meat, and I roll it up, and I eat it like that. So it's so messy, but it's so delicious, and it is, not all the carbs, right?
No, you made an adult roll up.
I did, right? Yeah.
Yes. That is so funny. And so I do a little thing with my hot dogs. And I know that I do this, so someone pointed out at the ballpark, because they're like, oh no, it was when we were in Canada and I went and got that hot dog next door, and I ate it, but I was like, I still slowly move the hot dog.
Oh yes.
Through the bun.
Yeah.
And I keep smearing my mustard on it. And I was done with it. I had like 3 or 4 bites, and I was like, oh, I'm full. So I gave it to Rob. And Rob looked at it and he goes, I have never seen a hot dog eaten like this before. Because he still had a lot of dog left, but there was like a portion where it looked like a horseshoe, where I'm just like eating the top of it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And he's like, funny. What the fuck, Mel? And I was like, I didn't want the carbs.
Right. Yeah.
I just needed that hot dog. So I'm just slowly doing the top. And because I don't like, it's interesting. I'm such a weirdo sometimes with my food, where I'm like, I don't like the hot dog by itself. I still want it in the bun.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need that texture, that flavor.
Yeah.
And it's not the same when the bun's not on it.
No, so you need a little bit. Yeah.
You got to have a little bit. You just got to find ways like you did, where you eat a little bit of the actual sandwich, and then you roll that shit up. And now we have
for sure.
Perfect protein for the day.
Well, that's it. And then I can actually finish it. I can actually consume it. Whereas if I was continuing to eat it with alongside like the bread, I would just be full after like 5 bites. So, right. So no, it's all about balance.
It really is. Those that are listening, literally, it's all about balance.
Yeah.
Like, if you take anything away from this, it literally is that. It's balancing everything, whether that's work, kids, your tummy.
Yes, yeah.
It's a balancing act. Like,
every day.
It's every single day. And people are like, yes, once you're a bariatric patient, you're never not going to be a bariatric patient. And just know that, like, yes, you can push your restriction, but like, why? It's like, you've done all this work. You've done a lot of procedures that fucked up, and I know you would be so pissed at yourself if you just were like, one day just gave up. You're like, no, don't care.
No. Yeah, no, that's a huge thing. Like, every day, even when I don't drink enough water, I'm like, ugh, I'm a bad bariatric patient. And then I really think again, and I'm like, no, I just, I'm not a bad bariatric patient.
You're just human.
I'm human, but it's like, new goals every single day, right? So to keep on track, because as you say, you are indeed always and always will be a bariatric patient.
Well, and I like the fact that you don't track macros. I don't either. I mean, Rob did give me a list. I will probably start tracking just because of the transformation that we're going to do. But prior to that, it's just water, protein. That's it.
Making sure
I'm not counting carbs, guys. I'm not doing sugar takes. Like, hit your protein, hit your water, because I've learned if I track everything, then I just get psycho about it. So I'm like, nope. Yep. Because I love numbers. So you're like, oh, a new number. Where am I at now?
Yes.
And
no. I did try that for a while, and I had all the apps and things, and it was just too time consuming for me to do that, right? Like, I just didn't have the time. So
story of your life,
right? I mean, like, isn't this where we're coming out of? This is Erin has no time. Erin has a shit show life. So it's basically that I gave up on that macro tracking. And Dad Rob would be really disappointed in me, but I was like, I can't do it.
He would be proud that you're being honest.
Did you see, he's actually a great one in this community as well, as we all are, but he recently posted, I don't know if you saw, he just had his 5-year surgiversary. And his caption on that post was, it was really cool to read. And it was that he forgot. He forgot about his surgery. Like he forgot it was going to be his 5-year mark. And so the day came and went, but he posted saying like, I'm really proud of the fact that I forgot because this is life now. I'm just living it. I'm not letting my bariatric surgery define me any longer. Like it was just a really cool spin on it. And yeah, I'm super proud of him as well. And he is so heavy into the macro tracking and just obviously hitting those goals, which is amazing. But for me with my particular schedule, I couldn't jot it all down in an app. It was just taking too much time. And I think the further out you are though, the more you kind of learn and know, okay, yeah, this, 8 shrimp is about this much protein or this. And you kind of start to learn, right, of what you can handle and what's what. So I think I'm more just in that mindset, which it's working for me. I mean, it's fine. It might not work for everybody, but.
Well, and I think in the beginning you track because that's what they want you to do,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And you start learning what protein is in everything. So you're right. Like you're kind of like, okay, I got to feel for this. It's what I think we have to work on is just consistency.
Right, exactly.
It's really not the macros. It's not movement. It's just being consistent with your health. Like that's the hardest part.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's so hard.
So hard.
And when people say, I did it naturally or you guys took the easy way out, the new one I'm seeing is you manipulated your body.
Oh, yes, and I saw that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then the mutating your body too. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
These are crazy words you guys are using for us.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're not seeing is the behind the scenes of every day we have to do stuff just like a normal person. It's just we weren't equipped with the tools prior and now we are. And it's like, okay, guys, like what do we have to do for you guys to accept us?
I know, right? There's so many different tools. Like, why can't this just be a well-received one? Why does it still have to have this stigma around it? It saved so many lives in so many ways. And I think that's part of why I love sharing my story is, putting your story and your life out there on social media is not an easy thing to do either, right? So consistency, which I'm terrible with that because I'm so busy that I don't have time to do all my content like I would like. But it's like, putting that out there and getting the responses back and the DMs and the comments and just the messages that say, wow, like, I'm so glad you posted that because, or I relate to this and thank you for sharing this. And it's like, it really makes you think, everyone's in this damn thing together, right? And it's just like, yeah, and the support is huge. And that's why I love having like the bariatric gatherings like we just did. You come into Canada, like amazing NSV for all of us that 2 days. Like it was insane. It was so much fun. And it was all about balance. Like you said, we still did the hot dogs. We still did. Hey, it was my birthday celebration. Didn't we pass that cake around? We quite literally had a massive slice of cake that was given to me and saying happy birthday. And it was like really cool. And of course, I take bites and we literally fucking passed the plate and forks down. Like person by person. I think it made 1 or 2, maybe even 3 rounds around what was there, like 19 of us or something crazy.
Because each of us taking a bite.
And so I just thought that was cool, It's like balance is everything and support is everything. And that weekend and any other weekend you can ever get together with your bariatric peeps. It's just do it because it really keeps you focused. It really refreshes your motivation, your willpower, your like, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it. It's just fucking awesome. And I love it.
You get that energy.
You're do.
Just like, fuck yeah.
The fire gets relit a little bit.
Well, and before I let you go, I wanted to talk about that a little bit because you went away for a little while on socials.
Yes.
And then you came back and we're so happy you're back. And, you got to see what does the community do for you when you're in it and when you're not in it. So how was that for you?
Oh, I missed it every damn day. I missed it every damn day. And I was lingering here and there in the background, watching everyone and still wishing everyone well and supporting. But I did feel really out of the loop. And it wasn't anything like a decision made where some people say, hey, I'm going to step off of socials for a while and regroup and this and that. It wasn't about that. For me, it was just quite literally my time. I didn't have the time to be putting that as a priority. And just with my hours, like a silly thing is that people really love watching me make my morning coffee and this and that. And I would do a bunch of coffee videos, and I do some crazy like flavor combos and all that. And I make it fun, and I enjoy doing it. And then I share obviously like the NSVs, I share my struggles, I share my wins. Like I just put it all out there, open book. And I had to stop doing that because of my hours. Like I'm almost nocturnal, nearly, like I had to set my alarm because I needed a little like hour-long snooze, Mel, before we spoke here today on the podcast. I was like, I need to go nap, or I'm not going to function chatting with Mel. So yeah, because I'm up at 2:00 in the morning, I can't be making a coffee video at that time in the morning before work, right? So it's like my role at work changed, my schedule changed, so therefore something else had to change. And unfortunately, socials was that. And I missed it because the support is everything. And, Shay said it best when I kind of did apologize, because I felt the need to apologize, like that I've been MIA. I don't know. I just felt like, because people would message me daily, like, where are you? I miss you. Hope everything's okay. Like, I mean, and I read every single one of them, and I responded to most, maybe not all, but it's like, I felt the love, and I felt missed, and I really love that. And I missed the community. I missed everyone. And it does hold you accountable. It does make you sort of like that fire just gets lit when you get all the feedback. And so it's a really nice thing if you want to put your life out there. It's not for everyone, but if you do it, I think you'll see that it gives a really incredible feeling. So when I did go away from socials, I found that I was slipping a little bit. And not like in terms of like stuff in my face with bags of chips and things like that, because nobody was seeing it online. Like it wasn't like that. It was just that I just didn't have that fire lit. It's like, this is old news now. How many times can I make a profit? How many times can I talk about a transformation online? And people want to keep seeing this? Like, really? It was like that. I was kind of,
do.
I know. And I do. I love seeing it. So I don't know why I was thinking like that for myself. But it was, yeah. So I was just kind of letting that slip a little bit. And then when I came back, I was like, okay, this community is fucking everything. Like I need it. I love it. And then you came to Canada, and then we had this whole gathering and everything. And it's just like, oh my God, like it just solidified that like the support is beyond anything that you can get from family and friends. You can have the best support from all family and friends, but the support of people who are in it and living it and have done it are just the world. I love it.
There's just nothing compares.
It's a different vibe. It really is.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm so happy I came to Canada because it lit me as well. It lit a fire under me. It lit a fire under all of us. And we realized like, oh, we do have this support. We're all here together. Mm-hmm. And the fact that like we were rolling around, guys, with like 15, 16, sometimes upwards of 18, 19 people at all times.
Yeah.
That was so fucking rad. Mm-hmm. That like we would just like, okay, where are we gonna meet? All right, here we are. And then we just go on the subway together, and then we're on a bus together, and then we're at meals together. Like it was so cool. And it was like a family. It really was. It was just like a bunch of family just got together. Like I know Rob said it was a wow for him because he was like, all my internet friends are here. Like what?
Yes, it's like, really cool.
This is wild. And I know, I woke up being like, I'm in Rob's house. Like I'm in his kid's bed. I'm in Canada right now. Like it was just so surreal to have everyone around and it be all the bariatric family.
Yeah. Like, and some of their spouses too, right? Like so my husband came, Anna's husband came. Like it was really cool because they get to see what it's all about too, right? And one thing that Justin said too, and he said this before, we were sitting at dinner this is the last night, it was at Niagara Falls, and I think it was after we had shared this birthday cake and everything, and we were all just kind of shooting the shit, hanging around for a little bit more. And Heather was there across from us talking and sharing some struggles. Kathleen was sharing some struggles, and not just bariatric struggles. Like we were talking life, right? Yeah. And we were relating to each other in other ways as well. And we were so open with each other, and I didn't think anything of it. I'm just, like I say, I'm an open book. But my husband leans into me and he says, wow, like you guys are so open with each other. Like this is really cool. And you've just met. you've just met. And I'm like, I know, like, that's the thing, is that you feel like you've known these people for years. Like, we've seen, you know, you on socials and this and that. So you feel like you know them. And then when you actually get to meet them in person, like, it's so cool. And like, it was really cool that he noticed that he was
Yes.
sitting there listening a little bit on the sidelines, because he wasn't exactly part of the conversation, because some of it did lend itself obviously to bariatric, related. But as he's sitting here listening to all these conversations go on with all 19 of us, he's like, fuck, this is a great group of people. Like, this is awesome that they all have this. And so for a spouse to notice that, I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, and Hugo, Anna's husband, noticed that too.
Did he?
Dylan,
Yeah.
Shay's husband, noticed it. Alverna, Arthur's wife, noticed it. Like, Hugo, I love that guy.
He was so fun.
We went to karaoke, right? And he was nervous because he doesn't sing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I've done this before and I just don't know what it's going to be like. And then after he sang a few times. And he was the ride home. Like, me, Anna, and him close that place out. They turn on the lights and go, you guys need to fucking leave. Like, it is after 3 a.m. We're oh shit, okay. And he said he had the most fun with us because no one cared what they sounded like, looked like, while we were singing. We were just in it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't think I would have got that anywhere else.
Oh,
and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, Hugo,
That's
I love
so
you.
Nice.
Like, it's so nice. And Dylan, of course, like, he was just like in awe of everyone. Just again, with like Justin, just how open we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like we have all been ashamed. We've all been embarrassed. We've had the surgery. We know what that feels like. And now I know for me, when I'm around you guys, I feel like I can tell you anything.
Oh yeah.
And everything. And I did. And it felt so freeing and therapeutic that it was so wonderful. Yeah. So guys, yes, if you can go to any meetups, go to them. Even if they're small, like we're doing one in Southern Oregon at the end of July, and there's like 12 of us. Like, I love smaller groups like that because then we actually get to like know each other really well. Yeah. And you get to build the friendships, because I wouldn't know you if it wasn't for the podcast and being in the community and you coming to my event. Like,
I know.
My God, seeing you at the second JBY.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember seeing you too. And I was like, I'm going to make my way over to Erin. I'm just slowly making my way over there. And I was like, oh my God. And then you and Justin just blew me away.
Oh, yeah.
How awesome.
It was so incredible. I still relive my JBY experience. Like, I'm so sad that I ended up having to miss this past one, because I was supposed to be a presenter and everything again, which I was so looking forward to, but I just couldn't make it work and getting there and all of the things. But so therefore, like, my last JBY experience, like, I'm still on a high from that one. Like, it's like, I still think about those things. Like, it was just an incredible experience, and meeting all those people and like fangirling over some of them, and then being told that people were fangirling over me. Like, it's just a bizarre, like, circle of people, and I love it. I love it. It's so fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, Erin, thank you so much for being with me. This is a long episode, and I don't care because I love every minute of it.
Oh, so yes, it is. Didn't we? We did go quite over. Look at that. Yeah. Wow. Well, I told you I had a story. Oh my goodness. And then, as I say, when I start sharing it all, it's like, whew, man, I've been through it. But I am so happy to have you, talk with me and let me share that and have this platform. So thank you so much. And I love you, and I love everything that you do for this community. And it's awesome. And now we're friends now. I love it.
I know. I got your number.
You do. We texting, bitches. We are. Yeah.
That's right. So is there anything you want to say before I let you go? Like, any tips, tricks, any words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I think we hit the nail on the head, though, with the word balance. And I think if you don't balance your life in every aspect, you will let parts of it go. And then you kind of retract and you get fed up with yourself, or you get little, your light dims, and then you'll notice other parts start to go because you get a little bit of a fuck it attitude, I find, for me. Yes. Right. So if you keep on track and you balance, and you know that not every day is going to be perfect, I think you'll be sailing. So don't be too hard on yourself and just kick ass every day and do better the next day than you did before. And that's the only thing you can just keep focused on.
Right? Even if it's just 1%
One
better.
little thing. One little thing.
One little thing.
Taking
and it goes
one
a
more
long
sip
way.
of water. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, one more drink of protein.
Right?
It
Yeah.
goes a long way,
It
fellas.
does. And it makes you feel better about yourself. You're like, I did that. I did it. I'm proud. So, and it doesn't even have to be bariatric related, you know? It's just do one thing that maybe you weren't comfortable with and push that and get out of that zone. And I think that it just creates this vibe, this mood that lets you, excel in every other aspect of life. Let's say that.
It makes you feel good. You're just like, I got this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even if I do that shit with my yard work, I just do a little bit more every day to it, and it slowly comes together, and then you're excited. You're like, it looks so pretty.
I know, right? It's satisfying. Yeah.
Very satisfying. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to us. We had so much fun with you guys. Leave comments below if you have any questions for me, for Erin. I'll have all of her links to her socials so that way you guys can go follow her and go see what she's doing, because she's one of my favorite Canadians, and we need to show her all the love.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much.
Yes. Until next time, everybody, remember, drink your water, drink your protein, and